Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today on my thoughts on Major League Baseball for the past 2 weeks or so. Before I continue, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and please subscribe to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated if you do that. So basically, what I'm going to do is just run through every team in the major leagues, basically give a few thoughts about them, how they're playing and stuff, and then move on. I'll make the announcement I was going to make at the end. Anyways, AL East, we always start with the AL East. AL East, Tampa Bay Rays, they're 19 and 11 at this point. They did lose a doubleheader today to the Kansas City Royals, or it might have been yesterday. Listen, that's not that good for the Rays. I still think the Rays they got off to a really good start. I still think the Rays are one of the best teams in the major leagues, and I expect that to continue. New York Yankees, they're 17 and 13. They're pretty banged up right now, the Yankees, but they're going to get healthy. Once they get healthy, they're really going to start balling out, in my opinion. CC Sabathia, I do want to congratulate him on getting his 3,000 strikeout. I did see that. I didn't watch it or anything, but I do want to congratulate him on that, the future Hall of Famer on that. Toronto Blue Jays are 14 and 15. Listen, the Blue Jays are a little bit better than I expected at this point, but I think they're all going to start probably losing more games than they win. Coming up once the end of May, once we come around in June. So we'll see what happens. They are 7 and 3 in the last 10, so they have been balling it in the last 10. Let's see. Boston Red Sox 14 and 17. The Red Sox, they're playing a little bit better, but still, I said at the beginning of the year the Red Sox will not make the postseason, and it looks like as of right now I am correct about that, and I'm sticking to that. So, Dustin Pedroia, I believe he's injured. The pitching is terrible for the Red Sox. The Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles, the team I'm going to be talking about in a second, my Baltimore Orioles, I'm an Orioles fan. I know you probably feel bad for me. We split the series against the Red Sox. So, I mean, we're doing just fine. But anyways, speaking about the Baltimore Orioles, that's the next team I'm going to talk about. We're 11 and 20 right now. We're tied at 5-all against the Chicago White Sox. If we beat the White Sox, we win the series. We win the season series against them this year, so that'll be interesting. But the Orioles, listen, we started off hot, cold spell. We're playing all right now. Pitching's terrible though, and I expected the pitching to be terrible for us this year. I had no expectations for the Orioles this year, but the hitting it cooled off a little bit, but it's still pretty decent. So we'll see what happens. AL Central now, Minnesota Twins, 18 and 10. This was my AL Central pick right here. It's working out. The Twins, they're on fire right now. They're 7 and 3 in the last 10 games. I mean, they're just winning games, and they're playing the Indians right now, and they're beating up in the Indians, I believe. So the Twins, to me, they're the best team in the AL Central. Speaking about the Indians, the next team I'm going to talk about the Cleveland Indians. They're a little banged up. Corey Kluber, he just broke something, so he's going to be out or fractured something. Here, I'll tell you what he fractured. I saw it on my feed here. He has a forearm fracture. It's a non-displaced fracture in his right forearm. He's going to be re-evaluated on Thursday, which is tomorrow when this video was filmed, since this video is filmed on Wednesday. Listen, Indians, the Indians, I mean, I don't know, they're just a little bit, to me, they're just not as good as people think, in my opinion. Still a decent ball club, but not as good as people thought. Detroit Tigers, 13 and 15. They're actually a little bit better than I expected them to be at this point. They're playing 500 ball. If they continue playing that, hey, they might be above 500 team at the end of the year. I don't think they will be, because I don't think they have the talent, but you never know. Major League Baseball is funny, so we'll see. But the Tigers, I am a bit surprised at where they're at. Chicago White Sox, 12 and 15. They might be losing the season series to the Orioles. That game's tied at 5 in the top of the 7th. If that's the case, that's not good. The White Sox, they started out very disappointing. But hey, they're playing last 10 games, 500 ball. And listen, they will probably be around 500 at the end of the year, or a bit below 500. So we'll see what happens. I'm not very sold on the White Sox talent. They're trying to rebuild the way they're rebuilding, or is basically long ball. Kind of what the Orioles did when we rebuilt that last time, and the last time we were actually good. It doesn't last that long. Like, you gotta build by pitching, bullpen, and timely hitting. Don't build by the long ball. And then let's see, Kansas City Royals. They actually just won I said it earlier, they won a double header. They won a double header against the Tampa Bay Rays. So that's good if you're a Kansas City. But you're not that good of a ball club, and you're probably the worst ball club in the league right now. Actually, no, probably the worst in the AL. I think the Orioles. I think we're better than Kansas City. I think we're better than Kansas City, the White Sox, and hey, we're right there with Boston and Toronto, in my opinion. I don't think we're that far behind the Rangers and the Angels. Speaking about the Rangers and Angels, I'll get into them in a second here. But the AL West, Astros. Listen, this team's the best team in baseball. I know the record doesn't completely show that, but they're the best team in baseball. That's all I'm going to say about the Astros at this point. They're way too talented. They will be in the postseason. Seattle Mariners, they cooled off a little bit. They could go. They might turn it back on in June or July, but I think May is going to be a bad month for them. I knew that wasn't going to last. What they were doing earlier in the season. Texas Rangers, 14-15. Listen, a bit better than I expected, but I don't think it's going to last. Hitting wise, I mean, you guys are great hitting wise. Your pitching is the problem. You're kind of a better version of the Baltimore Orioles, in my opinion. LA Angels. I couldn't wait to do this video just so I could talk about the LA Angels. They're 13-17 at this point. And guys, what have I been saying? Brad Ausmus is a terrible manager. I don't understand why the Angels even considered hiring him, but they did. And look what happened. Look what is happening. 13-17, you have the best player in baseball, and you're shitting up the joint. If I'm the Angels, I'm considering firing Brad Ausmus now. And then Oakland Athletics, listen, Oakland, they're one of those teams. They'll suck for 2 or 3 years, then they're good. And they'll suck for 2 or 3 years, then they're good. They never really have a great team. They're 14-19 at this point. They haven't been really playing good. 3-7 in the last 10 games. I expect that to change, though. I expect the Athletics to at least make a run at the wild card. Now we're going to move on to the NL here. NL East, Phillies, 17-13. Listen, the Phillies, people thought I was overhyping them a little bit. They were pretty good. I think they're going to be in the playoffs as far as I'm concerned, and we'll see what happens. But Phillies, like what I'm seeing from the Phillies. And they're winning a lot of games at home as well, which helps. New York Mets, 500 right now, 15-15. The Mets, that's where they're going to be throughout the year. They don't really have a lot of hitting. Cano just came back, which is good, I suppose, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Mets to me are just Atlanta Braves, also 15-15. I do think the Braves are going to pick it up once June and late May rolls around. It's very hard to pick it up if you start out kind of slow in like April and March. I mean, April and like early to mid-May, but usually like once Memorial Day is around the corner. That's when the good teams start playing well, and that's what I expect with the Braves. They just got off to a little bit of a slow start, 5-5 in the last 10, by the way. Washington Nationals. Let me tell you a little bit of a fun story about the Nationals. I'm an Orioles fan, but I have to pay attention to the Nationals because that's what I like Papa John's pizza, and that's what my Papa John's. That's who they use as their team for discounts and stuff. So I have to pay attention to the Nationals on that to see like if I'm in the mood for Papa John's. If I could get like a deal or something because I have like the Papa Awards and all that crap. But anyways, Nationals 12-17, very disappointing. And listen, I thought this team will be a bit better at this point. They have the talent to win this division, in my opinion, or at least contend for a wild card in the NL. So hopefully they'll turn it around. And then last and not least, the Miami Marlins. Listen, they are the worst team in baseball. I'm just going to put it way up in Front Street. They're the worst team in baseball. And it's showing 9-21. They're not that good of a ball club, even though they're 4-6 in the last 10, so they're competitive. Let's see, NL Central. St. Louis Cardinals. Didn't I tell you guys St. Louis? I said St. Louis was going to win the NL Central. Go check the videos on the channel. Listen, looks like I'm right so far. They're very hot right now. 9-1 in the last 10. I mean, the St. Louis Cardinals 20-10 right now. I mean, they're 3 games ahead of everybody. I mean, they're pretty good, the St. Louis Cardinals, and I expect that to continue. Second place, Chicago Cubs. 16-12. The Cubs. Some people were down on the Cubs. I think they're actually playing pretty well at this point. 28 games in at 16-12. 7-3 in their last 10. So they've really been playing well for their last 10 games or so. So basically, the Cubs, they're playing just fine. Milwaukee Brewers, 17-14. Listen, Milwaukee, they cooled off a little bit. Christian Yelich, he went out on that extreme hot streak. He cooled off a little bit. That's okay though. The way baseball works is the team's hot for 2 weeks, is cold for 2 weeks. The team's hot for 2 weeks. The team's cold for 2 weeks. I mean, so they're probably going to be cold for the next 2 weeks, but that's okay. As long as they could just stay a few games above 500, I think they'll be fine. Pittsburgh Pirates, there's Zachary at 500 at 14-14. Really haven't played well in the last 10 games or so, 2-8. Listen, Pittsburgh Pirates, they got to really turn it on if they even want a shot in the NL for the NL wild card, let alone the division. They're not that good of a ball club, but I do think they're more talented than some baseball teams in the league. So I think they will win some games. And then last but not least is the Cincinnati Reds, 13-17. Listen, the Reds, they're basically what I thought they would be. I don't think they're that good of a ball club. I think they went out. They kind of did what the Padres did a few years ago, and it's going to cost them. So 13-17 for the Reds. And then now for the NL West, Dodgers 20-12 at this point. Dodgers, they look like they're going to be in cruise control to win the NL West. It looks like since the Rockies got off to a very cold start. And the Padres have cooled off a little bit. But don't forget about the Diamondbacks. They're 18-13. Listen, this is probably the biggest surprise so far this year. Personally, I don't think it will last, but they're a lot better than I thought they were going to be. I thought the Diamondbacks would be lucky to win 75 games at the beginning of the year. Now I think we'll be lucky to see them lose. We'll be lucky to see them. Let me rephrase that. I'll be surprised if they don't win more, less than 75 games. The Diamondbacks, very good ball club. The pitching's working, the hitting's working, is all clicking. So very surprised by the Diamondbacks. Padres 17-14. They cooled off a little bit, but they're still pretty good. They have Manny Machado, obviously. The farm talent is starting to show. It still has to grow some. So they might not make the postseason this year, but that's okay if you're a Padres fan. If you don't make the postseason this year, even though you only made it 13 times out of 40 seasons, which is pretty pathetic, if you ask me. Colorado Rockies, 13-17. They really started off pretty cold. Then they won like 10 out of 13. But then now they look like they're cold again. They really got to get it together if they want a shot at the NL wild cards. 13-17 at this point would not cut it. And then the San Francisco Giants, 12-18. They wrapped up a series against the Yankees. That was kind of interesting to watch the Yankees play in A&T Park, even though I think they changed the name of that. But anyways, the Giants, kind of where I expected. I don't think they're that good of a ball club. Just a bunch of old veterans on that team. But overall, kind of where I expected the Giants to be. So that's my thoughts on Major League Baseball. Comment down below. Tell me if I missed anything. Also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and please subscribe to the channel. I do have a few announcements that I do want to say real quick before I go. So basically, this is going to be the last video on. Well, I shouldn't phrase it like that. I'm not going to do a video or unless it's breaking news on Major League Baseball until probably about May 25th-ish. I usually do these every 2 weeks. It's probably going to be 3.5 weeks until I do this video again. And that's for a few reasons. One, I go to college. From now until about May 20th, I'm going to be extremely busy. And I'm not going to have time for videos on an everyday basis. So basically, I'll still come out with videos a few times a week, but I want to focus my videos on certain things. Point number 2, college football. My college football predictions officially starts on June 1st. I am doing college football odds videos this month where I'm going to go through the college football playoff chances, the SEC chance to win the SEC, chance to win the ACC, chance to win the Big Ten. I'm going to be doing that throughout this month periodically. So that's point number 2. Point number 3, the third reason why I'm not going to be doing as much videos on any videos on baseball. We have NBA playoffs. I have to save time to do those videos. I know I skipped the series recap on the Spurs Nuggets. I apologize for that. I will not be doing that. But we have second round of the playoffs going on right now. I gotta be able to watch those games so I can recap them on the channel. So that's why there's going to be no my thoughts on Major League Baseball videos until about the 25th. So that's the reason why. I apologize for that, but it's just how it is working with the schedule. And also I work and stuff, so I have to incorporate that in too. So this video is going to be the last one until probably about late May. So there's going to be a lot of baseball played. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and please subscribe. And this is McD the Beast signing off.